Your sales are down and you don't know why. Today's video, I am going to show you one chart on eBay that is going to change your life. It's about working backwards, figuring out where in the process your listings are getting stuck and fixing those. So not only am I going to show you this chart, but I'm going to show you and give you actionable tasks that you can do to increase your sales. Let's get started. It's a meaty video, straight to the point, friends. So we are looking at eBay. This is in Seller Hub. You're up here on performance, and then if you just click on your summary, this is the first tab that comes up. If you want to, I'm going to scroll in a little bit. We're looking at over here on the right. This chart is so incredibly useful. I can't even tell you. I love this chart. So it's going from listing impressions. It tells you your click-through rate, your listing page views, and your sales conversion rate. Why is this so important, Sarah? This is what it takes. Let me scroll down a little bit so you guys can see it. My face is in the way. Actually, I'll move my face. Here, how's that? This is where it starts. It is a funnel, friends. And let me show you I'm going to show you this. This is a metrics that I have. You can see the funnel. This is a download that I have on my website. It's like $1. Or if you're a YouTube member, you get this along with courses and dashboards and analytics and stuff for free. But it is a funnel, friends. It starts with impressions. Impressions are people seeing your items on eBay, on Google search. People seeing your items. If someone does not see your item, they cannot purchase it. And then it goes down to page views. This is people looking at your page, going to your listing. If they see your item, then they have a chance to purchase it. Or then they have it, if they see your item, then they have a chance to click on it, to either go to your page or go to your listing, right? Click-through rate, we're gonna get into how this connects to the tab or the chart that I was showing you in just a second, but people have to see it first. Then they have to click on it. If they don't see it and if they don't click on it, they cannot buy it, right? And you see, you're gonna get a lot of impressions. You're gonna get a little less page views, and then this converts to a sale. Now, how does this convert over to this traffic, this chart? Look at this. It starts with listing impressions up at the top, and then it goes through click-through rate and page views. So you have to get people to see it first. If people do not see it, they cannot click on it. Your click-through rate and your page views, click-through is of people who see it, what percent of them click on it? Of the people who see it, right, the listing page views, how many people are going to this page? So clicking on it is the actual function, the actual action of clicking on it, and then how many page views are you actually getting? Without your listing impressions, without your click-through rate and your listing page views, you cannot convert to a sale. People have to see it. They have to click on the listing to be able to buy it. And this is where you have to start at the top. If your sales are down and you just go to, hey, my sales conversion rate, what's happening here? You have to go up the ladder. You have to start at the top and figure out what is happening with your listing page views. And this is where the actionable items come from. Looking at these numbers, figuring out what your normal is, and if you're seeing reds, what's happening with the reds, or if your listing impressions, if your sales are down, start with listing impressions. Start with getting people to see your item. So now let's take a look at actionable items, right? You want to start at the top. If your conversions are down and you start somewhere in the middle, it could be that not enough people are even seeing your item to be able to click on it. So start with your impressions, things that you can do to improve your impressions. Now keep in mind, this is people seeing your item. How do you get your item in front of people? So things that you can work on is your SEO, search engine optimization. Are you a pro at search engine optimization? Do you know search terms? Do you know how to accurately describe your item? If someone is searching for an item and your listing does not come up relevant to what they're searching for, they cannot see it to even be able to buy it. So become an expert in search engine optimization. You can Google that. You can look at, I have other videos that go into it, but search engine optimization is anything, to get impressions, but eBay specific, the best way to make a listing. Something that you can do, this is about making a listing. Something that you can do is pull eBay has if you have a store, a listing quality report, and I'll link a video up above on how to pull this and how to look at this, but this compares your listing to the top 5% of sellers in your category. And so it says, hey, it looks at your entire listing, your item specifics and your photos and your everything that makes a listing, and says, hey, you have 3 photos. On average, the top 5% of sellers have 7. So that's something that you need to work on to be the best listing so that your items are being seen. Other things, search filters and item specifics. Again, this is listing quality. If you are not making a listing that is going to be brought up when people are searching for it, or when even like, so if you're on eBay and you're looking at a listing and you see kind of at the bottom, you may also like this. If you don't have a good listing that eBay can pull and figure out what your listing is, it can't show up in other places, right? So I'm going to say a couple of tips for this, but then really look at that listing quality report, fill out the item specifics as they are relevant, right? So the reason for this is you want your items to show up in front of potential buyers. And the way that this happens is eBay doesn't know your listing from the next 7 million that get listed that day. They don't have any idea. What they do know is the computer, the AI goes behind the scenes and says, hey, someone's searching for, or someone's looking at this listing and it's a tumbler, right? It's a Yeti tumbler, right? And this buyer is out there and they're really wanting a pink Yeti tumbler. If you fill out your item specifics similar to what this person is looking for, eBay is going to put it in front of this person because they're like, hey, they kind of liked this one. This is similar. Let me go ahead and see if they want this one. If you don't fill out your item specifics, they don't know what this listing is to be able to put it in front of potential buyers, whether they're searching for it or whether they're putting it in front of potential buyers to possibly click on it similar to what they're already looking at. So you need to fill out the item specifics, but do it only relevant to the item. If you go in and say, hey, this is I have a pink Yeti tumbler, and I'm going to put, I want to fill out all the item specifics and characters on there, which I don't know. I don't sell tumblers. Is character an option for clothing? It's an option, and I never use it because I don't have characters. But if I had a Yeti tumbler and I was like, I want to fill out all of the item specifics, I'm going to click Arial, even though it's not completely relevant to my listing. Now, when someone is searching for a Yeti tumbler and they want an Arial on it, your listing is going to come up and it's not getting clicked on, because it's not what they're looking for. And so this is why your item specifics and making sure that you have the best item specifics possible, because of this flow. You want impressions and you want people to come down and do this next part. You want them clicking on your item. It cannot convert if it does not click on your item. In-demand inventory, friends, this is the thing too. If you're selling things that people aren't searching for, that people don't want, you're not going to be able to get those impressions. People aren't searching for it. It's not coming up. So make sure your inventory is in demand. I'll link a video up above on how to do this using TerraPeak. You can search specific items and it'll tell you average sale price, sell-through rates, and information. It also has reports that you can pull specific to your categories that tells you, hey, these are the recommended. This is what's selling. This is what's hot right now on eBay. If people aren't looking for your items, you're not going to sell them. You're not going to get the impressions. It's not going to get clicked on. It's not going to convert to a sale. Promotion, sales, and best offers. This is another way to gain more exposure. Friends, it starts at the top with your impressions. You want as many people looking on it as possible. And let me tell you a couple of reasons why promotion, sales, best offers, these are all really important things to have on your listing, not because you're checking a box on eBay's algorithm, because it's buyer behavior. When buyers are in eBay and they are searching for an item, let me bring it up on eBay, right? Think about when you're listing, think about being a buyer. You want to get in front of buyers. So let's look at a Yeti tumbler. I don't know why I brought this up because I do not sell this. So we'll see how it goes. I want a Yeti tumbler. All of these things accept offers. I click on this, and let's say you don't have accept offers, your listing is no longer getting an impression on it. All of these things on the side, the colors, these are your item specifics. All of these filters on the sides, if it's relevant to your listing, you want to click on, you want to have it. Let's say your item is made of metal. I have no idea what a Yeti is made of, but let's say your item is made of metal and you do not click that on your item specifics. Now when a buyer is clicking on that, your impression is no longer there. Your item is no longer being seen. So all of these, sales is in here, best offers in here. It's not about, so all of these promotion, sales, best offers, all of these recommended things, it's not about appeasing the eBay algorithm. It's about buyer behavior and how is a buyer searching for items so that you have the most impressions. You want to be in front of the buyers and have the most impressions possible for a higher rate of page views coming on down. The other thing I'm going to say too with the promotion, so if you promote your items, let's click on this item and say, hey, I'm interested in this item. Okay, this looks good. I'm going to scroll down and look at the item specifics. And let's say you promote your item and you have a great listing. Your item is now coming up in one other place, one other promotion, 130 plus places eBay will put it if you promote your item using their promoted listings. I have videos, I'll link them above. Eventually I run out of cards, so they'll be linked in the description down below if I run out of cards on eBay. But I have a video that goes into promoting your listings, how to set it up, how to run a campaign to figure out and look at the data to figure out what works for you. But this gives you more impressions, friends, right? It's about your impressions at the top. You have to have a large amount of impressions for it. People have to see your item before they can even click on it, right? So if we come back here, your listing impressions, if things are down, look at your listing impressions. Start at the top and work your way down to your sales conversions. Make sure everything that I just said is in tip-top shape and everything is working well. You have great strategies that are working. I have lots and lots of videos on all of these specific things that I'm talking about, how to try them, and then look at the data and analytics to see, because everyone's strategy is going to be different. Once you have your listing impressions, your click-through rate, and your listing page views, you can see this is red, which I like about eBay. So I have a video that goes deep into the analytics, but just a quick overview. Green means good, and then most times it's an up arrow. Sometimes like your selling costs, if it was an up arrow, it means your selling costs are higher, which would actually be a red, because you don't want higher selling costs, right? You want to make more money. But for the most part, so green means good, red means bad. Click-through rate was 0%. I consider this neutral. But click-through rate and listing page views, right? It starts at the top, your impressions. Now let's look at the page views. Once you have everything, you know, everything is in tip-top shape at the top, you can now say, okay, I am getting seen as many places as possible. This is the best that I can do. Now, page views. What is getting people to click on my page? And if this is something that's kind of a bottleneck for you, things that you can do. Think about it. These are people that have seen your item and they have now clicked on the listing. What makes them click on your listing, right? We're over here on the Tumblr. What made them click on your listing compared to all of these other Yetis? And things that you can do if your page views are not where they need to be. Think about you're a buyer. Think about what I'm looking at. What is going to make you, let me make this smaller so we can see multiples. What is going to make you, and I'm going to actually do this gallery view so we can see multiples. You're buying this. You are a buyer. What is going to make you click on this one as opposed to this one? Some of this would be color, right? Looking at the listing, one, is it relevant? Is it even what you're looking for? But then the other things, look, I'm a buyer. I'm looking at price. I'm looking at, hey, free 3-day shipping. I want this as soon as possible. So how can you get it to buyers as soon as possible? 1-day handling. This is why 1-day handling is recommended. Not because eBay wants you to check all these boxes, but because buyers are used to all of these other places that can get it to you that afternoon, right? So the buyers are like, hey, I can get this one in 3 days. And I can only get this one in 4 days. Okay, I'll pay $3 more. This one has an offer as well, so I can send an offer. This one has free returns. Hey, I get an extra 20% off here. All of these things, you can see people's feedback as well, right? All of these things are things that people are looking at when they are buying. What makes them click on it compared to your competition? And this is where your pictures come in play. This is where competitive shipping comes into play. This is where your pricing comes into play, and where offering returns come into play. Now, obviously, these all depend on your business strategy and what works best for you. But as you're going through and deciding if these policies are right for your store, look at your competition and what would make someone click on your item compared to somebody else's item. The other thing as well, so this is going to go into conversion, right? Someone is looking at your item, they've seen it, it's come up relevant to what they're searching for, and then they click on it and they're like, I don't know if I want this. How do they decide if they're going to convert to a sale? Things that convert people to sales are your feedback and your good reviews. People are looking at, especially when you're in a highly competitive marketplace, like we're looking at the Yeti tumblers. I have 2 of these tumblers that are the same. Someone has 100% feedback and someone has 97% feedback. everything's exactly the same, I'm going to go with 100% feedback. Now, I know that this is not always in our control, and certain times things happen and where you get a negative review. But this is where your customer service on all of your past sales will impact your sales now, because people are looking at your feedback. They're looking at good reviews, right? Now we're down, you have impressions, you kind of scale down, people have clicked on your items, and now you're down to your sales conversion. This is what we all want. But if you look at that chart that I showed you and you start at the bottom with your sales conversions, why aren't people buying my items? If people aren't seeing them up here at listing impressions, they cannot click on them. If they do not click on them, they cannot purchase them. So if your conversions, if everything, your impressions are good, your page views are good, you're tip top on all of those things, that you should be working on is your feedback and good reviews. Always have good customer service. Friends, there are times that I am 100% correct, but I will refund a buyer because losing that one sale is not worth losing all of my potential future sales because I have bad feedback. Shop policies. These are things that, you know, your 1-day handling, your free returns, your shipping. If you have 2 items and you have 1-day handling and someone else has 2-day handling, they're going to pick yours because they want it as soon as possible. Shipping time, right? And then flaws and condition. Obviously, flaws and conditions is slightly out of your control, but make sure that you're buying quality items. And if they do have flaws and conditions, that you are disclosing them. That goes to good feedback and reviews. If you have flaws and conditions, you sell pre-owned items, it's eBay. People are used to it. If you don't disclose it, that's when you get into trouble with your feedback and your good reviews. If you liked this video, YouTube also thinks you'd like this video. I will link a playlist down here of how to make money reselling, and then make sure to hit that subscribe button. This download is free with a YouTube membership, or you can purchase it on my website.